there are plenty of people that glaze Jokic to infinity and beyond. So when y'all do that, don't get all up in arms when we start holding them to a different standard, even above Giannis, who we even think is better. But that's not the consensus right now. The consensus, because y'all have gone around spreading this propaganda for 3 to 4 years now, is that Jokic is hands down the best player in the league. So he's going to have hands down best player in the league expectations.
We had a conversation up here when we talked about when Joker, I think that it was in Denver. No, I'm sorry.
In Denver when Giannis didn't play, that was a Brooklyn.
In Milwaukee.
I think it was in Milwaukee.
Was that game when Brook Lopez dunked on Jokic?
Yep, that was the drive-by.
Yeah. That was the one. Yes. I think that was the game that we had a conversation about. That was the game that I was talking about.
I mean, they both balled that game. They both were. Jokic had 30.
I brought up the point that because
10?
you brought up Sengun being on a better team, so it's gonna look different. Even though Giannis is probably gonna kick Sengun's ass. I don't think any of us up here think that Giannis and Sengun are on the level of players.
No, but they weren't in the tournament either.
If you give Giannis Turkey's supporting cast or Germany's supporting cast, if you replace them,
they win the tournament.
Or Serbia's supporting cast,
they win the tournament.
Oh, well, I don't know about Serbia's supporting cast,
but
definitely Germany's. If you give him a point guard like Dennis Schroeder, if you give him depth, if you give him Isak Bonga, like, my God, Giannis would absolutely destroy this tournament.
So you don't know if he wins it with Serbia's supporting cast?
Well, the team, we can. The team underperformed.
Their team is a little bit.
But y'all were saying how much they were going to run through the tournament because of how much
the tournament
they
were my pick to win.
No, you two are despicable human beings.
No, despicable. They didn't play well.
You guys are some of the worst people I've ever met in my life.
No, bro, because this is what I don't like about the way that y'all do this.
Here he goes, y'all. He about to get sensitive. That's that Nigerian in him.
About to get sensitive. If you would like me to take your job again today, I will gladly do so. Please stay off the mic. What I'm saying is that in this instance,
this is ridiculous, bro.
they didn't. I picked them to win the tournament, but
maybe they would have started
also say, but we can also say they didn't play as well as they should have versus Finland or versus Turkey. That's fair. Like, starting with Jokic though, that's weird argument starts. So I don't understand where that comes from.
I do know for a fact.
But doesn't that sound? But you realize this how weird y'all are about this. That Giannis had the worst game of any superstar in the tournament, and we just moved on because we understood the basketball reasons why.
This is why we do that.
I think because I
don't understand. Like,
we happened on a Friday,
but we had a very. It's a basic. I know, but the thing is. When we brought this up in the chat, the reason why I don't want to do it is because there's literally reasons why Giannis had that game, and it's not an indictment on Giannis that he shooting 40% and had 8 points going into the fourth quarter and 5 turnovers in that game.
On Giannis? Why
he didn't play well in that game. He didn't play well in that game, but that's not an indictment on him as an overall player. No, because it's the way you do this with Jokic. Y'all indict
so what are you saying?
Are you saying that
I just indicted Jokic as a bad player?
Yes, bro, it's the way y'all do it.
What happened when Jokic?
I didn't say.
It's the way Ron. It's the way Ron. Okay, cool. It's the way Ron will literally clap and jump and twerk when Jokic doesn't do something as everybody expects him to, and then when Giannis does it, it's silent.
What did I say? But what did I say in the group chat? Because what did I say in the group chat? Can I just explain to the people?
And then let me tell you. No. And then you said, then do it if you want to. But Ron, why would I do that though? Because that makes me sound dumb to then look at Giannis and say, that says something. No, hold on, Ron. Let me finish. That makes me look dumb for Giannis to have an incredible tournament, to have the worst performance of any superstar in the tournament, and then somehow say that's an indictment on him as a player. Because the very next game,
it's not as a player, Swiper.
No.
As a matter of fact, it is an indictment on him as a player, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Did you watch the game?
I'm going to tell you why. If that game would have happened last night, And if Giannis would have performed the way that he performed and his team lost by 30 points, we would have had every single reason to come up here and light Giannis's ass up. And this is the reason why.
We don't do that with Giannis.
And I'm going to tell you.
Do not do that with Giannis.
But hold on. Before we get to that. Before I answer that question, I just want to tell you why it is extremely valid for us to get on Giannis or anybody that's at that level. Because if we're saying that you are the best player in the league, second best, third best, top 10, whatever, and if you lose to a team by 30 points in a game that matters, a game that advances you to the championship, you absolutely deserve to get criticized and slandered. I don't want to say slander, that's a nasty word, but you absolutely deserve to get criticized and nitpicked in that game. You do.
This is the problem. But Ron, this is the problem, Ron. This is one of the big. Go ahead, Joe.
And that's Swiper's point, that we kind of just glossed over it. Like, it just went away.
And so to Mars's point, it was on a Friday. If that episode would have been on a Saturday, if that episode was last night.
Mars is correct about that point. The problem, Ron, with this is, which is, by the way,
no, he's not, Swiper.
No. But hold on, chill. My point with this is, if that was the only scenario in which we didn't talk about Giannis playing bad or getting duped defensively in games, that would be a whole situation. The fact is, especially Ron, not real talk here all every day. Ron, you will deflect off of Giannis's bad performances on either end, no matter the situation, because you like him. What I'm saying is, when Jokic doesn't play up to expectation, mind you, when he has games where he has 27 and 13, but shoots 8 of 25 from the field, has 6 turnovers in a very competitive playoff game in the second round, yet again, you will then bring up some of the craziest narratives about Jokic for the sake of content. I get it. This is what PC is. And I even tried to say
it's deeper than that, though, Swiper. Swiper, it's deeper than that, though. I'm going to let you finish.
Ben, you notice that I didn't bring up the Giannis stuff, even the sensitivity stuff.
But you should have though, Swiper. You should have though.
No, what?
I just outlined why it should be brought up.
Giannis is facing 4 people in the paint, and he's already not this otherworldly playmaker passer, and he gets caught underneath the rim, and he can't finish over Şengün and his other partner who's 7 feet tall, and then he can't get the rebound, and they're running. And Giannis in that game was so worried about what his teammates were doing that he was getting beat off ball defensively the whole second half.
Okay, then.
Why
are you
doing this? Why engage in this? Why do this crazy shit? What did I say? What did I say in the chat? I said we're not going to do this, and I don't.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking to Ron about his point, though.
I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing: Nikola Jokic had 33 points in that elimination game. Alexa Abramovich was hurt. Okay, Bogi was out, and they lost to a team that nobody had winning a single game. It is rightfully said to be the greatest upset in Eurobasket history. That is the truth. That's the truth. Serbia underperformed. Jokic didn't play his best game, and he got absolutely annihilated defensively. That's the truth. The truth will set you free. It's also the truth. 2 things can be true, right? It is also the truth that Giannis probably had a really bad game with a lot of pressure on him, that he didn't deal well with double teams and triple teams. He had 12 points. It is also true to say that was the first time that Giannis has lost, that Greece has lost to Turkey, literally in your lifetime. By the way, it's the second time in Chill's lifetime. 1973, bro. 1972, 1973 is the last time that happened. That's insane. It is also true that is the second biggest margin of victory in semifinals history. All of these things are true. And yet at the same time, I will still say that Jokic and Giannis are 2 of the 3-4 best players in the world.
But that's not the conversation.
So, yeah, we all agree with that, Pin. Like, what's the point you're trying to make?
The point
like those are known facts.
The point here is be the change you want to see, right? I was hoping that we could slide past this Giannis thing because it is really just reducing basketball to this.
It's not reducing basketball to talk about what happened and to say if a player played bad, you played like shit. It's not. When Jokic has
it's
not an indictment on Giannis. on his greatness. It's not.
It
Pin, as a matter of fact, it's actually bigging up Giannis even more. If you really look at it, it's like Giannis. We expect you to be 30 a night, and you didn't give us the 30 that we expected. Why didn't you do it, Giannis?
Okay,
what happened? Okay, so then let's talk about that. If that's the case, but we still have to acknowledge that he played bad though.
There's a lot.
It doesn't matter if it's
we can
right or
deal.
wrong.
We can deal with nuance. We can deal with nuance, right? We can say this is the strategy that the Oklahoma City Thunder employed to shut down Nikola Jokic's post-ups. Or we can reduce it to the lowest common denominator so that a 2-year-old can understand us and be like, oh, 6'3" Alex Caruso shut down Nikola Jokic. When you damn well know that's not true. You damn well know that's not true, and that's not what happened. But no, it's not. But this is I understand.
Now he's just diminishing Alex Caruso's greatness. I guess.
Alex Caruso is arguably the best defender, or one of the top 3 defenders in the NBA. So I mean, no slight. Okay?
He's one of the top what?
He's one of the top 3. I'd say he's one of the top 3 defenders in the league. And by the way, if you believe in defensive EPM, he was the best defender in the league last year. Okay, so what I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with that, but to say Alex Caruso shut down Nikola Jokic is so disgusting and so gross. And for the people who don't actually watch the game, they might actually believe you. They might repeat what you're saying, because there are people in this chat who really believe that everyone up here is making good faith arguments and knows what the fuck they're talking about. And when you say that Alex Caruso shut down Nikola Jokic, or that Jokic is underperforming, Ron, you came up here and like roasted Jokic for having less than 20 games. So less than 20 points in a major playoff game. Yes,
and I'm gonna do it again.
You were as quiet
if he does it,
when he has 35. When he has 35, you're like, oh, he just did what he's supposed to do.
Don't do that. I show Jokic love.
But the real correction point here is beyond the Jokic stuff, which is what I think we were trying to do today, which we did until it got nasty because of Ron going off screen and doing that clapping and all that stuff in the black. What happened is that, Ron, the energy for someone who believes Giannis is the best in the world. No. And this is true, Ron.
I'm going to tell you the truth. Go ahead. You say what you got to say, and I'm going to give you the reason why this is why it is.
As the PC chat as my witness, you hold Jokic to a higher standard with your negativity, criticism, and ridicule than any other time you do with Giannis. Now, I'm talking to Ron. Now, I know this because I have talked to you about this multiple times. You do not give the same level of criticism and energy. Now, you're probably going to say has something to do with me and my perspective and the heights I hold Jokic to, which is, again, me, as opposed to you. You believe Giannis is the best. But yet when it comes to living up to that performance, it's just nowhere to be seen. And especially given you think he's a two-way demon.
Okay, I mean, so let me answer that. That is fair. Let me answer that. And I have 2 answers. Let me answer both of these fully and clearly.
Let's hear it.
As one of the Giannis guys, we don't have a name for his fan club, but we'll come up with something good. Giannis but as a leader of as one of the leaders of Giannis FC,
the freaks,
freak offs.
Cool, yeah. As the leader of the freak offs, what I will say though, in all seriousness, it's not my job to slander Giannis. And you can feel how you want to feel about that. It is not my job. So that's why I said when Giannis had that 12-point game, you and Penn, that's your job to come up here and get on the timeline and go crazy. When Jokic lost to Serbia, when Serbia lost, I went on that timeline and I was going crazy. I was in every group chat. I was texting you, swiping. I was jumping for joy. It's not my job to point out Giannis's flaws. I'm sorry. If you guys want me to do that, tough shit. I'm not doing it. All right. Secondly, also though, to the flip-flop of that, Swiper, I'm not as loud as praising Giannis as you are about Jokic. I'm not as loud as praising Giannis as certain LeBron stans are about praising Bron. I'm not as loud as praising Giannis as certain Steph Curry people are. I'm just not. I will not derail a whole episode jacking Giannis. Swiper, you have literally came up here, grabbed the wheel, threw me off the bus. Not put me in the back seat, threw me off the bus and steered us directly to Jokic land. You've done that. Penn has done that about Jokic. Luka Glazers have done that about Luka. When have I ever just took an episode and said, we're talking about Giannis and just made it a whole episode, a whole week, a whole thing? I've never done that.
Yeah, well, you haven't done it about Giannis, but I'm 100% confident. I sat up here when Tyrese Halliburton was going 20-20, when he was going 20-15. We actually went on and on and on and on about Tyrese Halliburton this, Tyrese Halliburton that. Chill, he the best point guard in the league. Hey, chill, we can have a conversation about him. And it completely went away from anything else that we were talking about, Ron. So don't sit there and say that when you got your guys that you don't go off the deep end.
No, I can't get nasty. And by the way, I'll do it for Trey too. I can't get nasty, but I don't.
When we go on these hour-long Jokic segments, you realize, especially when we got to March and beyond, they start due to criticism. You do realize that, right? Like you would start these segments based on criticism.
But Swiper, do you understand why we do this, right?
No,
you understand why we do this. Have you guys ever heard me come up here and say Giannis is a? Have you ever came up here and heard me say that Giannis is the best power forward of all time, top 3 power forward of all time? Have you guys ever? Hold on, Swiper. Hold on, time out, Swiper. Hold on, I'm about to let you. I'm about to let you know why. I'm about to let you know why. Can you just put on your seatbelt? No, just put on your seatbelt. I'm about to take you to where we're trying to go. So I'm saying I've never came up here and said Giannis is better than Hakeem. Giannis is this. Giannis is that. You will come up here and say that Jokic is this level. He's the best at this. He's the best scoring center. He's the best offensive center. He's the best passing stretch big ever. The terms that Jordan gets mad at you for saying. You will continuously push Giannis or Jokic into this stratosphere of all-time greats. You'll say he's a top 10 player all time and this, that, and the third. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what it is. When you put him in that tier, you can't be mad at us for then expecting him to perform in that tier. And when he doesn't, then we get on your ass about it.
That is not.
You can't be mad at that.
The issue, Ron, with you, and first off, you already exposed yourself because that is some of the dumbest logic I have ever heard for talking about. You're saying you will willfully ignore things that are happening in a game or with a player for agendas. That to me sounds ridiculous on a basketball show. Number one, number two. And then number two. Most of the Jokic segments don't start off because of praise, unless again. And then the other side of that, when they do, they start off because damn, 30, 20, and 20. We've never seen that before. Ron will be like, lead off the show. Hey, is that Jokic's best performance ever? 40, 15, and 5 versus OKC. 42, 22, and 6 versus OKC. Then you'll start the show after these literal performances that have never happened. Then you'll do it, and we'll go from there. Yes, he is a historical anomaly, so he will get a lot of love and attention. The problem is on this platform, and this all started, by the way, by saying I didn't want to do this with Giannis. This was the whole point, so we didn't get here.
Chill,
there's no reason.
Can't remember where Alex English
there's no reason to talk about Giannis and somehow indict him as a player because of what happened in that game versus a lineup and a defense that was suited to be able to defend Giannis. And he had a horrific game, but also he didn't get any assistance anywhere else up and down that roster in that game. So for me, that would sound crazy to come on here and somehow like say Giannis is somehow like not who he is or who we thought he was because of that performance.
Nobody's saying that. Like nobody's moving him from wherever you have him ranked down 4 spots because he lost to Turkey. My thing is, Giannis, I don't believe you should have lost to Turkey, and I believe you should have performed better. But here's the thing, and I will say that. But I'm also not finna go on my timeline and go crazy. I'm just not going to.
You know what the craziest thing is, and I'm gonna tell you why some of your Jokic stuff bothers me, Swiper, and why sometimes we'll push back on you, even though he's like one of my favorite players and has been one of my favorite players for so long, is because I really believe that Jokic is such a selfless basketball player. I don't think he would slander his teammates for not showing up in that game. I don't think he himself would ever try to talk about him being a top 10 player, top 15 player. I don't think he even thinks about that kind of stuff. And he's never really talked about that kind of stuff. You talk about a lot of that kind of stuff. And I think it makes other people associate your takes with him. And then he ends up getting hated a lot. And really, we don't need to talk about it. And it's not a player like Shaquille O'Neal thought about a lot of this stuff. He used to talk about like how he ranked up with the big man. I think Dwight Howard talks about this. There's a lot of American stuff, to be honest with you. There's a lot of American thought process in this, GOAT ranking stuff. This ain't really how Jokic is even talking about the game or thinking about the game. He wants a medal with Serbia. He didn't get it. He's disappointed. The fact that he had 33 points, the fact that he had 12 points is completely probably irrelevant to him. You know, so that I'm not trying to psychoanalyze Jokic, or I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you. I just think
the show that he had 33 and 8, though, that was never a talking point. The talking point was how he was getting fried defensively. So what I'm saying is that the counterintuitive measure
was he not?
Is that yes, which we said, but Penn, somehow you have involved yourself in this in this wedge in between me and Ron. My whole issue is the narrative and how we shape how we talk about certain players. And I'm cool if you want to be nasty and you say it's not your responsibility to criticize Giannis because the way you feel about him, then that's fine. What I'm saying is going forward, I cannot have a debate with you about Giannis because you can't even there's no way for you to be impartial. And I mean
I'll acknowledge it though, Swiper.
No,
I acknowledged it.
But no, Ron, you literally will not, which was the whole point that I started this now dribble. Because you will not acknowledge those things over the course of an 82-game sample size. You don't. Not the way
I have,
and not
in
the
the
way,
past. I have,
and not the way
I've done that plenty of times.
Not the way you will criticize Jokic, but to your point, because you feel like it is not your job for one, and it is your job to do it for the other. But I can't argue on that point anymore. So then I understand.
From one Jokic Glazer to another.
So now we have no edge between us.
Can we just have a very, very rational 1-second conversation here? Look, you've heard of Machiavelli? Nikola Machiavelli. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Tupac.
So,
Illuminati.
You know, shout outs to Nikola Machiavelli. Right now, Swiper, you are the internet's foremost Jokic fan in America, probably. Like, you've done a great job of this, and that's not a slight to you. Obviously, that's who you are. As a lot of people know you as that.
It's not new.
You up, bro?
Everybody know it.
You're up. I don't think most people with half a brain cell could debate the fact that you are technically supporting the best basketball player in the world right now. Obviously, you got haters like Real Talk who'd be like, no, but he don't play defense. But most people acknowledge that he is the best basketball player. He's won 3 MVPs. And I think Machiavelli would tell you, act like you're up. Act like you're winning. You don't have to be
your head up.
You don't have to be so defensive.
Take off your beanie.
You're not like me up here trying to prop up Scotty Barnes. Like that's an uphill battle, bro. There's some people who don't even think he's supposed to be starting in the NBA. That's an actual uphill battle. You are up here defending the best player in the league like he's got some shit to prove. He won 3 MVPs. He's had analytics seasons that are off the charts, literally breaking the model of analytics. The fact that Real Talk says, "Oh, you don't play your own rim defense," cool. Giannis can't pass. Okay, like shit. Like move on.
Giannis can't pass.
Well, I mean, my point is, act like you're up. Act like you're winning. I've never seen a king yell.
Respectfully,
okay?
Penn. I hear you, but I just don't. That's fine. I don't need you to defend my position at all, but I do appreciate the effort you just.
I'm trying to inform your position. I'm not.
I'm saying, Penn, I don't need to be informed about my own.
He helped Jordan. I think he can help you too, Swiper.
I think what I understand is that everybody has their own view on how they want to view basketball, view players, where they stand with certain things. That's cool. Basketball is like that. Other sports are not. Other avenues of life are not, unless you're one of those people that wears the red hats and you have a cult like that. We just typically don't like codify things outside of hoops. I'm saying that like in this instance, I truly, I'm from Denver, so Jokic is obviously plays in Denver, so therefore I'm going to talk about him more than anybody else because he's the best player on the team. So I mean, and to end this from here, I think that the way that we talk about certain players, I think is just very not just disingenuous, but I don't think it actually does good to talk about the sport. But that's just me. But if you feel like it's your responsibility to be able to slander players because they're not your guy, and to that degree, then cool. We could just move on. That's just a perspective.
Ron, I would like to say something very quickly because I haven't said anything in a while.
Yes, Mr. Talk.
I got brought up for whatever reason when Swiper and Ron are going back and forth. But
that you a joker hater? That you a joker hater?
Yeah. So my problem, and I just think that the conversation about Jokic, I think from Jokic fans is very disingenuous. Like you can't on one end go, and it's not just Swiper either. There are a lot of people that have been a cause to where we've gotten right now with the Jokic conversation. The Jokic conversation is best offensive player ever.
Ron
again. In a tier
bro.
By himself. As far as players today, like not even close. Another big content creator that you know, Swiper, who's been doing a listing, just came out with a video not too long ago talking about how Jokic is by far and away, that's in the title, the best player in the league. So when
Legend
you
of
all
Winning,
go on,
who you're constantly
stop.
on with.
I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you.
Let him finish, man. Let him finish.
When y'all go on saying stuff like this, he is obviously, and again, this is a good net of the basketball community. This isn't just Swiper doing this. I don't even just put this on Swiper. Swiper is the face of it up here, but there are plenty of people that glaze Jokic to infinity and beyond. So when y'all do that, don't get all up in arms when we start holding them to a different standard, even above Giannis, who we even think is better. But that's not the consensus right now. The consensus, because y'all have gone around spreading this propaganda for 3 to 4 years now, is that Jokic is hands down the best player in the league. So he's going to have hands down best player in the league expectations. Stop bitching and moaning about that when y'all are the reason why it's like that in the first place. If y'all were at where I am, which is, I think since 2020, there's been a tier of player that has an argument of best in the league, which is a combination of Jokic, Giannis, Luka, Embiid. Since 2020, 2020, LeBron was that 1 year, and then he got hurt in 21. But basically, since then, that's been the conversation for me, at least, right? So if you have Jokic as the best player in the league, that's not ever what I'm arguing against. That's not ever what I'm arguing against. If you honestly believe Jokic is the best in the league, cool. He definitely has an argument for being the best in the league. My problem with the Jokic conversation has always been how y'all try to convince me and others that he's way better than these other niggas who are Giannis is having a historic prime peak right now. Historic prime peak. He just had his second or third straight year averaging 30 points on 60% from the field, 60 plus true shooting, 12 rebounds, 6. He's doing this consistently now. Nobody else in the history of the game has done that. For 1 year, he's on his second or third year straight doing it. And it's just like, oh, I'm supposed to believe that there's somebody in the league just way better than him. No, I don't agree with that. I will never agree with that. Again, if you want to think Jokic is better, sure. That's not my issue. It's the far and away, the clear, the supreme gap. That shit, y'all be overblowing that shit 24/7. And no, anybody with a real basketball brain knows that is not true. Y'all try to put him in these LeBron, Michael Jordan categories, which I've even heard Swipe try to do. He's the LeBron MJ of the league where he's the clear best player. No, he's not that level of player. I will forever disagree with that assertion.
I agree. That is your position. To you, you don't feel that way.
You know, the first person
but then that's where it stops, though. That's what I'm saying.
That he was
you're allowed to have your opinion on that. I don't even think it's worth arguing anymore. You feel the way that you feel. You have felt the way you felt. No matter the situation, no matter the context, no matter what Giannis or Jokic have done as players, you feel the way that you feel. So that's what I'm saying. When Ron told me that this year in 2024-25, he didn't say this till the end of the season. He told me that he thought Giannis had a better season than Jokic did this year. I just stopped. I mean, because there's no going forward with like a lot of folks that feel this way. If you feel that way, that's fine. And if you feel like you want to support Giannis and believe he's the best in the world, sure. I guess for me, I think both of them are top 20 players ever, top 17 players ever, according to my rankings now. I think both of them have an argument going forward of who's going to be the best of this generation. I think it's Jokic. I think Jokic has been better for the last several seasons. But there are a lot of people like Jason Temp, who you ghost named, like a bunch of other people at Bleacher Report, a bunch of other people at The Ringer, other people at ESPN, a bunch of other people at Fox, CBS, all the rankings that come out, everybody has Jokic number one. And so you, as a Giannis fan, feel that it's disrespectful to Giannis. And I'm saying I can understand your position, and I respect your position.
Did you not just hear what I said? I said I don't have a problem if you think Jokic is the best.
No, but you said you did have a problem if you think it's a gap. No, you said you had a problem.
Jokic is not a gap
But I'm saying real talk.
player than
You don't
Giannis.
believe that, but you're upset that other people believe that. I think that's what
I think
you're not going to convince people that if they feel that way though.
The
Just like I'm
first
not gonna
person
convince
that
you.
I ever heard say that Jokic was the greatest offensive player of all time was Legend of Winning. So the next time you're on a playback with your friend, Legend of
I
Winning,
fry him about that all the time. What are you talking
cool.
about?
So again, making this all about like Swiper did this and whatever. I don't think Swiper's the first person,
I
second person,
literally
or
said
fifth person
it's not
that
just
said
what.
that.
Did you listen to anything I said, or you just waited to talk? Did you
I waited
listen
to talk
anything I
and
said,
listen to what
or
you
just
said.
sat there waiting to talk? I could low about this. I could swipe about. I literally said in my dissertation that Swiper is not the only one saying this. I said he's not even.
That.
To me, he's not even the face of the Jokic.
You said
thing.
he's the
face
face
of it
up here. Yep.
Who's the face of the Jokic
But
clan?
I said it's definitely other people that push the Jokic prop.
Yeah, I just don't understand like why you need to like. I don't think I've ever heard you.
That's
give
why you
Jokic...
don't win shit in debate, because you don't damn listen. You just sit there waiting to talk. You didn't even combat my point. You got off the microphone to say something.
Do I sound tilted to you?
I didn't even.
Do I sound shaky to you? Do I sound flustered to you?
I don't care if you sound shaky.
Bro, you sound like you're about to have a heart attack. Calm down.
Hey, Pin,
calm down.
Pin, Pin, right quick. The cool thing about you not listening to people talk is that you might be able to go first in the King of the Court, and it won't matter in the first place. That's the cool thing about that.
I definitely did listen to what you had to say all 3 times that you repeated around. Like you would merry-go-round.
I know you're not the one talking about going on a long-winded, repeated cycle of information.
Well, I don't. I certainly don't talk in circles. I may be long-winded, but I'm not talking in circles. You like to hear the sound of your own voice. You like, whoa,
brother.
Maybe the first time. Maybe the first time I said
it.
Maybe
right,
maybe the fourth time.
Speaking of circles. Speaking of circles.
Yeah, speaking of circles, chill. Speaking of circles.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. You're the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.